The story begins with our hero Yuki, who is honestly a complete loser. Same kind of power that girls do. Unlike boys, girls gain superpowers just about how useless his life feels. Boys are born into hardship from the very beginning, while girls are blessed with power so easily. His frustration grows as he reflects on how unfair, very sensitive topic. Now it is time for Yuki to think about his future career. He begins to wonder whether life is really just this, working a boring job and sewing forever. Will he always remain a worthless person? Yuki falls into a brief depression, but then pulls himself together and reassures himself. Surely, somewhere in this world, there must be something greater that he can do. Something that does not involve sewing. At that exact moment, thick fog suddenly spreads all around him. A powerful gust of wind slams into him, pushing him backward. When the fog clears, Yuki realizes that he has fallen into his worst nightmare. He has arrived in Mato. Panicking, Yuki pulls out his phone to search for information. Mato is another world that can be accessed through gates that have recently begun appearing throughout Japan. This world is inhabited by monsters called shuki, creatures that cause mass destruction. If an ordinary human accidentally enters Mato, stuck in Mato, you should hide in one place and wait for the Demon Defense Force to arrive. Terrified, Yuki decides to do exactly that. But before he can even hide, a horrifying monster attacks him. Yuki runs for his life. Unfortunately, the path ahead is blocked, and even more monsters appear. Yuki realizes that sewing skills are absolutely useless here. Desperate, he picks up a rock and throws it at a monster. It does nothing, except make the monster even angrier. Yuki begins thinking about how his body might look after he dies, but he refuses to die like this. Just as the monster is about to kill him, a girl arrives riding a monster and saves him at the monsters. With her sword, she slices several and is quickly killed. Now, she has to fight on her own. Her name is Kyoka, and she is the commander of the 7th Squadron of the Demon Defense Force. Kyoka tells Yuki to stay back, but Yuki warns her that the situation is getting worse. Kyoka throws a chain around a monster's neck and subdues it, then escapes with Yuki. Soon after, Himari and Shushu, the other members of the squad, arrive to help. They report that no other survivors were found. Safety. The other girls absolutely dominate the battlefield. Himari transforms her arm into a machine gun, while Shushu transforms into a giant beast. Yuki realizes that these girls are unbelievably powerful. Elsewhere, the girls find an unconscious boy. Assuming that their commander has already returned, they leave. When the boy wakes up, instead of thanking them, he desperately searches for his sister. Meanwhile, Kyoka has still not returned. She warns Yuki. They encounter the same girl Yuki saw near the gate earlier. She nearly collapses, but Kyoka saves her. Kyoka's enslaved monster also ends up needing protection himself. Kyoka creates a barrier, but the monsters begin breaking through it. The situation becomes desperate. Kyoka recalls her past when people mocked her, saying her power was useless. She had sworn that one day she would become the greatest. Yuki, he must become her slave. She tells the young girl to close her eyes and explains that if Yuki gains power, they can survive. Yuki cannot believe that he is being asked to fight, but Kyoka reminds him that he said he would do anything. She commands him to kneel before her. Those words hit Yuki deeply. Kyoka extends her finger, and for reasons unknown, Yuki's body moves on its own and licks her finger. The moment his tongue touches it, chains materialize around him, and Yuki transforms into a terrifying, immensely powerful monster. Kyoka is shocked that it actually worked. The other girls arrive and are stunned to see that their commander has enslaved a boy. Now empowered, Yuki slaughters the monsters effortlessly. Kyoka rides on his back and gives him commands. Flying through the air, Yuki annihilates every remaining enemy. All the monsters merge into one gigantic creature. Kyoka orders Yuki to crush it. He attacks at lightning speed and obliterates the massive monster in a huge explosion. Once the battle ends, Kyoka releases her power, and Yuki returns to being an ordinary human. Kyoka refuses to leave with the others, saying she needs to talk to her new turn into such a powerful monster, and says she wants to make him her permanent slave. However, there is a special condition tied to her power. Suddenly, she kisses Yuki. She calls him a pervert and explains that this is the price of her power. As the master, she must reward her slave after work, and the reward must match the effort. Yuki's heart pounds wildly. Kyoka says he worked very hard, hits her face. Kyoka understands and explains that when monsters were he doesn't want to live a boring life anymore. Here, he can become a hero, avenge his sister's death, and, most importantly, receive rewards from Kyoka. They arrive at the Demon Defense Force dome. Yuki enters enthusiastically, believing he will become part of the team. The girls are shocked to see him, but Kyoka introduces him as a caretaker. She explains that during battles, Yuki will act as her slave, but inside the dome, he is merely the girl's. At the very end, Kyoka warmly welcomes him to her squadron. Yuki is feeling proud of himself because he has finally finished his cleaning duties. As he takes a moment to breathe, he thinks to himself that the scenery of Mato does not actually look that impressive. Just then, a Shuki, which thinks of itself as very sneaky, tries to launch a surprise attack on Yuki. However, Yuki's barrier instantly blocks the attack, stopping that stupid hollow creature without any trouble. At that moment, Nai arrives to check whether Yuki is okay. She explains that the 7th Squadron is stationed in Mato's unlucky southwest area, which is why this zone has far more Shuki compared to other domes. Mato is an alternate dimension, roughly the size of Tokyo City, and it is divided into 8 different locations. Each location has its own demon defense force responsible for protection. Mei considers herself to be Yuki's teacher, although Yuki is not completely sure whether he can truly accept the little girl as his superior. For now, Yuki ignores that thought and wonders whether they should deal with the Shuki that is still awkwardly wandering around nearby. Mei tells him that it is just a small fry, not worth their time, and that they can safely ignore it. However, Himari clearly does not agree. She suddenly goes full Mega Man mode, pulls out her Gatling gun, and completely blows the Shuki away. Yuki gets angry because Himari almost hit him as well, but Himari calmly points out that if she actually wanted to kill him, he would have already been riddled with bullets. Himari then orders Yuki to go back to his job and start preparing dinner, reminding him that he is only there because of Kyoka. Yuki starts wondering if being a caretaker is really something he can accept. Just then, he feels something strange, as if he has sensed someone's presence. That night, everyone praises Chef Yuki's cooking. They even compliment his previously poor attitude. Himari asks for another survey, and hearing all these compliments makes Yuki feel great, so he tries to maintain a better attitude, even though they keep reminding him of his other duties. Like a dummy, he goes right back to work. Eventually, Yuki remembers that his dream was to become a hero, not a handyman. He voices his frustration, saying that all he does all day is chores. Kyoka explains that when the time comes, she will use him in battle. Until then, she instructs him to focus on housekeeping. When Yuki tries to stand up for himself, Himari threatens to cut his head off. Kyoka admits that the other girls might feel uncomfortable having a male caretaker, but Yuki is excellent at cleaning and is also vital to her ability. She asks everyone to treat Yuki nicely and tells Yuki not to worry, because if he messes up, she will simply take away his manhood. That night, Shushu, who is currently in her tiny shrunken form, thinks that she caught Yuki spying on a girl. She threatens to report him to the commander. Shushu explains that her ability allows her to grow bigger or smaller, and she even takes an incriminating photo. She says she was curious about Yuki, which is why she had been keeping an eye on him. Yuki tries to explain that he was only cleaning, but Shushu is not interested in hearing his excuses. Yuki thinks she is trying to blackmail him for money, but Shushu says she just likes to keep things interesting. She declares that she wants Yuki to become her slave. Yuki replies that he is already a slave. Shushu forces Yuki to clean her room, and his attempt to delete the photo fails. She even makes him do her laundry, but this only gives Shushu another chance to take more misleading pictures. Later, Yuki wanders around feeling depressed due to being constantly bullied. He notices Kyoka and Himari training outside. Suddenly, a Shuki appears, and Kyoka takes this opportunity to show Himari how real combat is done. She completely destroys the low-budget enemy monster, shocking Yuki and amazing Himari. Yuki cannot believe how Kyoka managed to instantly kill the Shuki, and he realizes that he should never get on Kyoka's bad side. Nai arrives and explains that she is heading to a meeting with Himari, so Yuki will have to stay behind and protect the dome with Shushu. That night, Shushu forces Yuki to give her a massage. She reveals that she grew up without a father and came to Mato searching for excitement, even if it meant risking her life. The two decide to play video games together, but Yuki warns her that he is actually very good at them. They make a small bet, which Yuki initially refuses. Later, he accepts, thinking that he will win, and makes Shushu apologize. However, he ends up losing every game, and because of the bet, he even has to take off his shirt. Suddenly, they have to rush outside, because a giant Shuki is attacking the barrier. Yuki thinks they should stay back, but Shushu shows him just how big she can grow. Yuki struggles to keep up with it. The monster tries to fight Shushu, but she easily grabs it and smashes it straight into the ground. Yuki is stunned as Shushu completely overpowers the enemy. She throws the monster into the air, slams it back down, and crushes it under her feet. Because staying that large is extremely exhausting, Shushu shrinks slightly. As she celebrates her victory, another huge blob monster attacks her. Many Shuki merge together, making it even larger. Shushu realizes that if she does not end the fight now, things will get dangerous. She tries to grow bigger again, but for some reason, her ability does not work. The monsters restrain her, preventing her from moving, and the giant Shuki starts landing powerful punches. Yuki feels completely helpless and can only watch as the monster overwhelms her. He desperately wishes he could transform, but without Kyoka, it is impossible. Then, he remembers that he transformed before when his lips touched Kyoka's hand. A sudden idea hits him. He needs to kiss something that belongs to Kyoka. He runs to the laundry room. Licking Kyoka's glove fails, but it still starts the transformation, meaning he is on the right track. Pressing his face into Kyoka's shirt transforms one of his legs, but he needs something that will cause a stronger reaction. Finally, he finds Kyoka's boots. He briefly wonders what this says about him as a person, but Shushu's situation is worsening. With no time left, Yuki runs outside holding the boot. If he truly wants to be a hero, he has to act now, even if it means licking a boot. With tears in his eyes, he does it, and power erupts from his body. Back in the fight, Shushu realizes that transforming into jumbo size pushed her too far. The monster does not stop attacking, and she knows her body will soon return to normal size. At that moment, a partially transformed Yuki rushes in, determined to do his best even though he is not at full power. Shushu holds the monster in place, giving Yuki the perfect opening. Yuki delivers a powerful kick, completely destroying the monster's head, and together they win the battle. Shushu thinks Yuki was reckless for fighting at half power, but Yuki explains that he did it because earlier she had called him a coward and told him to stay back. Later, Kyoko repairs Yuki's body, as forcing the transformation caused several painful side effects. The others make fun of him, saying that he became useless after only a few minutes of combat. Yuki responds that he simply has not learned how to properly use his power yet. He asks whether they should fix the barrier, but Kyoko explains that barriers protecting important locations have special attributes and will automatically repair themselves as long as the damage is minor. Yuki realizes that this is what happened earlier when the Shuki attack. As Kyoko works on Yuki's back, the pain is intense, and Yuki wonders if this is really the reward for protecting the dome. Kyoko scolds Shushu for underestimating her opponent and punishes her by ordering her to help Yuki with chores. However, when they are alone, Shushu reveals that she still has more incriminating photos, meaning she will continue to be his master. Yuki realizes just how bad things are getting for him and wonders whether he will ever be free. Elsewhere, a barrier breaks. Another demon defense force arrives at the scene, and one of them orders the others to inform the commander. The remaining girl prepares for battle, but realizes that her opponent is not an ordinary Shuki. The beast completely ignores her attacks and grabs the two people who were trying to escape. As the Mega Shuki prepares to eat her, a mysterious person orders it to stop. As this mysterious woman mounts the Shuki, she explains that she can sense Yuki's presence in Mato. And now, the time has finally come to meet Yuki. After some time, Kyoko takes Yuki through a gateway and tells him to wait there because she has some urgent paperwork to take care of. Yuki can hardly believe how strange this journey to another world feels, especially since it only took them a 50-minute drive from the other side to reach this place. The transition between worlds feels almost too simple for something so extraordinary. Eventually, Kyoko returns and tells her companion to enjoy the fresh air while he can, because vacations are rare and they won't get another break anytime soon. Yuki wonders where exactly they are heading, but Kyoko remains extremely serious and gives him no answer. Back in Mato, Shushu is looking for Yuki and is informed that the commander took him through the Yamato route. At first, she is slightly surprised, but then she remembers that today is a tragic anniversary. Meanwhile, Kyoko brings Yuki to a cemetery. She explains that some time ago, a terrible incident occurred when a large number of Shuki wandered into this world, and among them was one incredibly powerful being. Kyoko remembers that day vividly. She describes that monster as having only one horn. When she was a child, the memory burned deeply into her heart because that beast massacred countless people in her hometown. Because of its appearance, she named it Unicorn. On that day, all the Shuki who invaded were killed by the Demon Defense Force, who had rushed in to help. However, after checking the official records later, Kyoko discovered something terrifying. Unicorn had escaped. It was the only Shuki to manage such a feat, using a gateway to flee back into Mato. Unicorn is still alive. With anger burning in her eyes, Kyoko declares that she must settle the score with that powerful monster. She swears that she will erase it from existence, and she wants Yuki to be prepared for the day they face it. That is why she brought him to the cemetery, to show him the graves of the people whose deaths she intends to avenge. Soon, it is time to return to Mato. However, Yuki asks if they can take a short break first. He checks some Yelp reviews and finds that a nearby cafe is famous for its parfaits. Kyoko insists that returning to Mato is more important. But after seeing a picture of a particularly beautiful and delicious-looking parfait, she surprisingly agrees. In truth, she is slightly amused and impressed by Yuki's stubbornness and confidence, though she still worries about Mato. Yuki then shares something personal. He lost his sister in a model accident. Because of that, he understands how Kyoko feels about wanting revenge. Despite being young, Yuki speaks with surprising maturity. He tells her that if she exhausts herself recklessly, she might lose her chance for revenge altogether. Kyoko realizes that he is not just stubborn, he also knows how to make a convincing argument. The parfait turns out to be extremely delicious, and when Kyoko smiles, Yuki is reminded of his sister. They used to get along very well, and she always encouraged him to learn practical skills like cooking and cleaning. Suddenly, Kyoko receives an emergency call from Mato. There is no immediate life-threatening danger, but something serious is happening. Their break ends abruptly. Kyoko orders Yuki to transform, and in his demon form, he quickly carries them back. As a reward, since that is how her power functions, she grants him one. During the meeting that follows, Kyoko is informed that while patrolling, a strange crater-like formation was discovered nearby, filled with a large number of shuki. Yuki glances at the iPad and is stunned to see hundreds of shuki on the radar. Kyoka is also shocked, because she has never seen anything like this before. Nei uses her ability to confirm that the shuki are not leaving the area. It appears they are building some kind of nest. Eliminating them all will be a massive task for their squadron, and Yuki feels excited at the challenge. Kyuka announces that they will take 3 vehicles. Yuki is startled to learn that he is being counted as one of those vehicles due to his transformation ability. He charges ahead of the others, and they jokingly call him a wild animal. When Yuki and Kyoka arrive at the crater, he imagines how terrible it would be if someone were trapped there among all those shuki. He wants to start attacking immediately, but Kyoka orders him to wait for her signal. The others initiate the attack first. Kyoka explains that if they force the shuki to come out, it will be easier to defeat them one by one rather than fighting them inside. Shuki are tough, but their fighting style is simple. As long as the squad sticks to their strategy, defeat is impossible. Kyoka tells Yuki to be ready because once a giant shuki reaches its full size, they will strike. Suddenly, a powerful beam shoots out from nowhere and hits Shushu. When they look up, they realize it is that same one-horned beast, Unicorn. Kyoka immediately recognizes it as the monster responsible for the massacre. It launches a devastating attack, completely destroying their truck. A girl riding it declares that she has joined the party as well. Himari is shocked that the girl can speak because she assumed she was just a monster. The girl seems irritated by that assumption. She unleashes a massive attack. Himari barely blocks it by using her arm as a shield. The impact is overwhelming. Her shield shatters, and she is struck by the destructive beam. Yuki and Kyoka rush forward and manage to push Unicorn back. The girl appears delighted by their strength. Seeing Unicorn again fills Kyoka with rage. The girl finds it amusing that they gave the monster a nickname. Yuki is stunned by how terrifying the beast looks, the very creature that destroyed Kyoka's hometown. Their entire team is badly injured. Kyoka demands to know who the girl is. The girl calmly replies that she is the greatest enemy of the Demon Defense Force. Kyoka is shocked when the girl pulls out a Mato peach. The girl asks if Kyoka has seen her little brother anywhere. Kyoka does not respond. Using the peach as a distraction, the girl suddenly launches a surprise attack, but Yuki barely blocks it. The girl attempts a combo move, but it has no effect on her opponent. She explains that when her little brother was young, he always followed her around. As he grew older, he became mischievous. Growing up, she says, simply meant she could now discipline him by beating him up herself. Yuki cannot tell whether this girl is truly a Shuki or something else entirely, but one thing is clear: she is unlike any opponent they have faced before. Just as she is about to say her brother's name, they are interrupted by the Shuki combining into a gigantic creature. The girl becomes furious at the interruption. Her anger reminds Yuki of his own sister. Without hesitation, she crushes the massive creature and feeds its remains to Unicorn. At that moment, Kyoka realizes that this girl must be the supreme commander of the Shuki. The girl expresses disappointment that they know so little about Mato and effortlessly evades their hero's attack. She declares that this world is full of curses, and with a powerful strike, separates Kyoka from Yuki. She is impressed by how strong Kyoka's Shuki is and captures Yuki. Yuki is terrified that she will crush him like the giant monster earlier. However, the girl suddenly freezes in shock. She realizes that he is not a Shuki at all. She reaches out toward him, but Kyoka leaps back into the fight and forces her away. Kyoka manages to land some damage and moves in for another attack, but Unicorn blocks her. The enemies retreat. Kyoka shouts at them, calling them cowards and demanding they come back. Consumed by rage, she swears that if they intend to run, she will tear them apart from behind, just as Unicorn did to fleeing villagers years ago. But when she turns, she sees Yuki helping their injured teammates. Swallowing her pride, Kyoka tells him that protecting Himari and Shushu is their top priority. They will withdraw for now. Later, Kyoka regrets losing control of her anger because it could have cost her teammates their lives. Back at the dorm, she reports that their injuries are light and they will recover by the next day. This time, Yuki's strange reward involves being stepped on under her feet, and he is startled by his own mental reaction to it. He apologizes for letting Unicorn escape, but Kyoka does not blame him. Safely extracting the team was more important. She concludes that the girl must be a new species of Shuki. The fact that one of them can understand their language is unbelievable and will shock the world. Yuki then surprises her by saying that the girl reminded him of his sister. When she saw his face, her reaction was strange as well. Kyoka doubts that any human could possess such power. Besides, no one has ever heard of a human turning into a Shuki while cooking. Yuki cannot stop wondering, was that really his sister? If so, how did she survive? And why would she fight against the Demon Defense Force? He has no idea what he would do if he saw her again. For now, he must return to reality and cook dinner. Nei, as his senior, forces him to kneel and punches him directly in the face for putting everyone in danger. After calming down, she acknowledges that he worked hard to save them and tells him she will cook dinner so he can rest. Even so, he still helps her. He decides he will think later about what to do regarding the demon girl. For now, there is work to do. Elsewhere, it is revealed that the girl's name is Aoi. She is mocked for returning injured, but a healer named Coco quickly restores her. Aoi is completely certain that the demon she fought was her younger brother Yuki. However, she cannot understand why he looked like a Shuki. She had believed that boys were not accepted into the demon defense force. Despite everything, she secretly enjoyed their brief reunion. Later that night, Yuki accidentally walks into Himari's room while she is bathing, and she is ready to end his life on the spot. At that exact moment, a gateway suddenly opens, and two girls appear. One is the commander of the 6th Squadron, named Izuma, and the other is her second-in-command, Azuma. They show great interest in Yuki, who is rapidly becoming popular. And with that, episode 3 comes to an end.